All right, we are in chapter 13 of the How to Sell Homes Fast for Top Dollar. We're talking about the do's and don'ts of negotiation. So this is just a continuation of the previous chapter. And I want to make a couple of quick points here for you before you jump in to read it. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but there are a couple of key points that I'd like to point out. Number one is just realize during this whole process that it may be a little uncomfortable. You're going to feel under pressure, and at times, because of the way that buyers are going to push you to try to get you to lower the price, you may be a little bit frustrated and feel like you'll wonder if it was really worth having gone through all of that to prepare your home, get it ready, and try to sell it. So realize that's probably going to come up. You're going to feel that way. Be okay with that. And just keep a professional demeanor the entire time as you're dealing with the buyers and with the buyer's agent and talking with people about the price of your home, accepting offers, making counteroffers, receiving counteroffers in return. And another important thing to point out is that whenever they come back with a counteroffer or they want a concession, just at the same time, you listen to what they have to say and decide if you want to go through with it or not, but always push back a little bit and provide your own counteroffers. Remember the story I told you in one of the previous videos? I did a signing down in Sarasota here recently, and the buyer of this property was telling me about a property that he had sold where the buyer kept making demands, and he kept doing what the buyer wanted. And it had something to do up in the attic with the joints or the joists, something in the roof. And then when they fixed it, then the buyer said that wasn't the real issue. There was something else that he wanted to resolve. And he just kept pushing him as far as he could the entire time. Finally, on the day of closing, he came in and said, they had until noon was the original scheduled time to sign the documents, and he said that if they didn't sign by 9, he was going to call the police and kick them out for trespassing. So they called around, talked to lawyers or whoever they needed to, and found out they didn't have to sign till 5 in the afternoon. So they just pushed the time that they signed back until I think 2 or so in the afternoon later in the day, is just kind of that revenge is sweet moment, right? But you don't have to let it get to that point. So when the buyer comes pushing, you can choose to accept those concessions or not. And if you do, just make sure to ask for some concessions of your own in return. So that way they don't just feel like they can push you around and take you for a long a ride as possible. So hopefully they'll kind of take the hint. If they ask you for something, you're going to ask for something in return. And in that way, they'll realize that it's not really worth it for them to keep pushing for little concessions that don't really matter if that's not the real issue. So go ahead, read the chapter, tell me what you think, ask me your questions, leave a comment below. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.